And that's not all. Somebody sent 5 dozen donuts to the firemen, and the Herdmans ate them all. And what they couldn't eat, they stuffed in their pockets and down the front of their shirts.
And that's not all. They wrote this really, really dirty word on the back of Naomi Wilder's favorite turtle. So now she can't take it to the Lions Day Pet Show. Her mother won't let her.
What was the word?
And that's not all. They did it with fluorescent paint, so it glows in the dark. So even when you can't see the turtle, you can still see the word.
And that's not all. They put tadpoles in the school drinking fountain, and Miss Bonham swallowed 2 of them by mistake. Somebody yelled, "Mildred, stop! You're drinking tadpoles!" But it was too late.
Did she get sick?
Not right away.
And that's not all. Now I'm going to tell you about the Christmas pageant and what they did to that. There were 6 of them. Ralph, Imogene, Leroy, Claude, Ollie, and Gladys. And they went through the end of school like those South American fish that strip their bones clean. They went around town the same way, stealing things and tearing things up and whamming kids. So it's hard to get away from them. There is only one safe place.
Sweet hour of prayer, sweet hour of prayer, because there are no Herdmans there, and Jesus loves us as they say, because he keeps them miles away.
That's my little brother, Charlie. That's what he said when the Sunday school teacher asked what was his favorite thing about church. And Charlie said, no Herdmans. That made the teacher mad because all the other kids said nice things about God and Jesus and good feelings. But old Charlie told the truth. No Herdmans.
I don't care what everybody else said. That's what they really thought. All that other stuff is okay, but the main good thing about church is that the Herdmans aren't there. Ever.
Well, that's not a very Christian sentiment, seems to me.
It's a very practical sentiment. Charlie was black and blue all last year because he had to sit next to Claude Herdman in school.
Claude, is that the worst one?
They're all the worst ones.
Ralph's the biggest, so Ralph gets
That
all
doesn't make any difference. Gladys isn't big, but she's fast and she's mean and she fights.
I'm sorry I asked. Just stay away from them all.
That's what I said. Stay away from them. Go to church.
I'm glad to hear you feel that way.
Why?
No arguments this year about the Christmas pageant.
I don't want to be a shepherd again.
Well, tell Mrs. Armstrong you want to be a wise man.
I don't want to be in it.
Everybody's in it. Think how I'd feel sitting there on Christmas Eve if my own children weren't in the pageant. Think how your father would feel. You'd feel terrible, wouldn't you, Bob?
Well, actually, I wasn't planning on going this year. You know how crowded it is. They could use my seat. I was just going to stay home, put on my bathrobe, do a little relaxing. There's never anything different about the Christmas pageant.
There's going to be something different this year.
What?
Charlie's going to wear your bathrobe.
Grace, you just made that up.
Why don't you be Joseph? Elmer Hopkins will pay $20 to be Joseph. Elmer's sick of being Joseph all the time, just because his father's the minister. Nobody wants to be Joseph.
Nobody wants to be in it.
And what are you going to be this year, Beth?
I'm always in the angel choir.
Well, why can't Charlie be in the angel choir?
Because I can't sing.
From what I've heard in the past, that isn't a big drawback. A Wayne Manger always sounds like a cat caught in a fan belt to me.
What do you wear in the angel choir?
Bed sheets.
Oh boy, second choice. Bathrobe or bed sheet. Come on, Beth. Let's go watch TV.
You know, Mrs. Armstrong works very hard to give everyone a lovely experience.
Mom, Mrs. Armstrong just likes to run things.
directs the pageant, she runs the potluck supper, and she's chairman of the bazaar. Well, I think Helen Armstrong would preach the sermon if anyone would let her.
Helen Armstrong. That George Armstrong's wife?
Yes.
Well, maybe she can try managing the hospital, because that's where she's at. Oh yeah, I run into George Armstrong this morning at the feed store. He told me that Helen fell and broke her leg. Gonna be in the hospital for 2 weeks. In traction, right up to that first of the year.
The first of the year?
Yeah.
Well, they'll have to cancel Christmas.
Is she in charge of Christmas too?
Well, she's in charge of the pageant, and she's in charge of the bazaar. I feel sorry for Helen, but who's going to do all those things?
Yes, I'll take over the bazaar, Edna, if you'll do the potluck supper. I don't know what in the world we're going to do about the pageant, though. Unless, well, what about Grace?
Oh, Edna, I just can't. I'm having company all Christmas week. How about Grace?
I'm working on my master's. I just don't have time. How about Grace?
Grace, Edna McCarthy, there's a little something I need to talk to you about.
Bob,
What?
I have to direct the Christmas pageant.
Does that mean I have to go?